Well, a very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the main arena here at BETT 2023. I hope you've had a good day so far, have you? Can I hear a yes? Woo! Good. I hope you're starting to orientate yourself around the conference. I know it sort of takes a while to find your feet with all these things. That you've managed to check out some of the other stages that are jam-packed with brilliant agendas. Thank you so much if you've replied back to my question of the day on Slido, which you'll find in the main arena section. So I basically set this question this morning. I wanted to know, what are you most excited to learn about at this year's BETT event? Let's have a little look at some of the responses now. Lots of you saying that you're looking forward to learning more about AI. Some mentions of ChatGPT in there. Who, by show of hands, who's had a play around with ChatGPT already? Yeah, most of you. Yeah, it's really impressive, isn't it? Every time I do it, my mind is a little bit blown. Some other people are mentioning the metaverse, which I'm really pleased to hear because we've got a wonderful session on that tomorrow morning from Intel. Someone else has mentioned esports. They want to learn more about esports. So I hope you're in this room because the next session coming up is going to be right up your street. Lots of people speaking about networking. Obviously, there's over 30,000 delegates here. So there's surely lots and lots of opportunity for you guys to network. Just another plug for BETT's amazing new technology, which is Connect at BETT, which allows you to book in really high-value 15-minute meetings with hand-selected attendees that you may want to connect with. Remember, everything is pretty much done through the app, so make sure you've downloaded that you have a little look at the agenda. We also have got live captioning for all of our sessions, which you can access through the app, which are put on by Caption Ed. Just one final plug, really, for social media. I so love scrolling through the hashtags, seeing what you guys are getting up to. So do post your photos. Do let us know your thoughts on these sessions. Our hashtag is BETT2023, and that's also the code if you're ever using Slido to get into our conference and ask your questions and put your comments to the panel. All righty then, let's get going with our first session of the afternoon. So to kick off this afternoon session, we have got a brilliant expert panel, which are looking at esports, education, and employability. How can esports build skills that future employers want? And we heard this morning from Stephen Bartlett, if you're in that session, who was sort of really talking about how schools should be following the passions of students. And many, many students are passionate about esports. So with that in mind, we're going to hear from a selection of educators and students who have really leveraged esports to accelerate learning, foster collaboration, and inspire lifelong learners. So may I welcome to the stage Mark Sparvel, who is Director of Education Marketing at Microsoft, who's going to be moderating this panel. Thank you.
Go. Great. Good day, everyone, and thank you for attending or viewing 2023 BETT Arena Keynote. Even if you've come in here for a quiet place to sit, welcome. In fact, why don't you just take a moment and just have a nice deep breath, hold it for a second, let it out. If your hands are clenched, let them relax. If your tongue is stuck to the roof of your mouth, bring it down. And reimagine. Reimagine for a moment the possibilities if we were to untether education and learning from traditional constraints like time and place, and we were to situate it in a new environment. The kind of environment educators like you and I know are just right for deep learning, where there's a balance of pressure and support which are inclusive and accessible, and those that are highly collaborative and motivating. So I'm going to be joined by some exceptional friends. They've got an appetite. I took them for dinner last night, so watch out. They're going to clearly show you all how passion, purpose and community can be pulled through esports into education and develop skills for learning, for life and work. And trust me, they're going to surprise you, delight you, and they're going to inspire you. But, rude of me, a proper introduction. You've already met my Minecraft self running through the streets of London. And as you watch the presentation, we've all coordinated our clothes to match our Minecraft avatars, so watch out for that. At Microsoft, we have Minecraft Education, which offers an entire curriculum PD package around esports in a specific education environment. So we had some fun creating the opening and also the closing sequence running around Minecraft London. It's awesome. I'm Mark Sparvel. I'm standing in for Paige. I'm the substitute. She was unable to travel, and she sends her regards to all of you. So what happens if we place invitation before instruction? Prior to joining Microsoft 9 years ago, I took on my final principalship, and I wanted to do some finding out within my new school around what the students were motivated by, and also I wanted to signal a new approach around student voice. So I went to each classroom and I asked a question, and I was blown away by the response from that question. The question I asked was this: I'm trying to better understand gaming, PC gaming, mobile, online, offline, and I'm curious about what it is that you play and what it is that you're learning. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit rough. My son's a gamer, I get that. I wasn't expecting the response that that question provoked, the ripple it sent out across the school. I had so many students coming up to me over my first 2 weeks, telling me about their gaming experiences, telling me about what they were learning, dropping off USB sticks with their Pivot and their Scratch programming to show me their animations and the games they were thinking of and wanted to play. Even now I think about that moment when the learning, the skills, the identities that were being built outside of school were invited into school. And it began with a simple question. So, if you've never asked that question in your school, this is your Monday, not someday, homework from Principal Sparvel to take that question and pose that question in your own school. Let's click play. I invite you to think about for a moment a memory of play from your childhood. Imagine it like a Polaroid photo slowly coming into focus. Bring that picture of play to mind. I bet it's automatically attached to emotion, which is the gatekeeper of attention, cognition, and motivation. Play is fundamental to the human experience, and it's critical for child development. If you're an early years educator like me, you know that. Your second homework, should you need it, constantly defend time for unstructured play for all of our learners, regardless of their age. Now, games. Games are a form of structured play and a universal feature of human culture, often used to transmit wisdom, knowledge through the centuries. I mean, hopscotch was originally recorded in 1677, but is believed to have been developed 3,000 years ago to help Roman soldiers develop agile footwork. That was hopscotch. Now, at the same time, there was something happening in Mesoamerica. which was the Olmecs and the Aztecs were battling it out in a giant sporting competition like a Super League or a World Cup. And it was a game called Alamar, where the losers lost their heads. Now that's a tough lesson. And we know that play isn't always pleasant. If you're a parent or a teacher, you've probably said, one of you is going to get hurt in a minute, and you're probably right, somebody probably did get hurt. But we learn through these experiences. Let's go from the past then to the present. Esports. It's a multiplayer, competitive, often broadcast live game that's laddering up to a professional level. And our experts will fill you in on all of the ins and outs of esports. Esports, however, has been a little bit on the fringe, if you like, of education, an outsider, happening beyond formal schooling in many cases, elusive and maybe not properly appreciated. Even though the very first major esports competition, if you like, happened in 1980, where 10,000 people in the US took part in a nationwide Space Invaders competition. And it was won by Rebecca Heinemann. Gaming gave Rebecca a safe space, it gave her a career, and importantly, some validation that she was good enough, and led on to a career in business, in esports, authorship, and coaching. What's similar about all of these things? They're profoundly social learning environments that help players develop mastery, critical skills, and dispositions that are valuable in the game and essential outside of the game. And it's an industry that's exploding in size. There's opportunity to be had there. Educators have always embraced play games and sports, but esports is now knocking on our classroom doors, an opportunity to be invited within. 2.5 billion gamers worldwide, with a market size that's predicted to be worth $2.7 billion by 2025. In the US, more people watched esports in 2021 than any other sport outside of the National Football League, and that's predicted to change by 2025. Back in 2016, the esports broad industry surpassed the revenue raised in box office, music, and film. Lots of play, little leverage in classroom, at a time globally when educators are lamenting about the decline in student motivation. And it's gaining as a legitimacy as an industry to prepare for. The University of California, Irvine was the first university to offer a Bachelor of Arts in esports, and that was back in 2016. But now there's over 170 universities and colleges offering esports-specific courses with about $16 million of scholarship money available. And that's here too. Places like the University of Chichester offers courses which cover psychology, sports management, event management, and sports science. So esports, it's good for learning, it's good for workforce readiness in all industries, including the rapidly growing gaming industry. So how do we do it? Let's hear from Queen Mary's College Director of Esports, James, and a few of his remarkable students. But as you listen, we've mentioned esports, education, employability. Pay attention for a fourth E, entrepreneurship. James, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I begin, thank you so much, Mark, for the kind words. You're going to hear from some truly remarkable students in a minute. And thank you for this opportunity for us at Queen Mary's College to talk about our journey. So I am indeed James Fraser Murison. I'm the Director of Esports at Queen Mary's College. And one of the things we're going to talk about is how we got involved in esports in education, how we started off a few years ago to where we are now, and why these wonderful students that we'll introduce in a second are able to demonstrate and showcase the talent and the reason and the rationale why esports and education is needed. So just a little bit about myself. I have a variety of roles at any given point. I'm the head of education at a company called Hundo, where we are desperately using esports as an opportunity to engage with industry and employers. Roughly speaking, there's 1 billion tech jobs needed by 2030. Esports will form some of those things for some of those roles, and we'll go into details about how that's relevant. Please grab me throughout the next couple of days. I will be around, and I'm desperate to kind of show the passion of what our students are able to demonstrate and why I think esports, education, and industry are really key fundamentals for the future. I'm also a Yo-Yo Tech Esports Arena consultant. Yo-Yo Tech are out there. Please go and see them. Because of the influx of esports and education, Newcastle United, Tranmere Rovers, Media City in Manchester, they're all getting involved with bespoke esports arenas as well. And that is relevant to our education journey as well. I'm a NACEF mentor on top of that, as well as working for a company called Gameplan. So what we're able to demonstrate over the last couple of years is how we've begun. I remember when we started a conversation with senior management many years ago about why we should be engaging with esports. We started off purely as an enrichment, a non-accredited course. And funnily enough, when we put on 1 hour a week, esports enrichment, it was by far the most popular enrichment we ever had at Queen Mary's College. Within 2 months, we'd gone from 12 people turning up, because that's how many PCs we had, to having to put on 4 other hour workshops each week, and at times many students having to stay 1 hour after college to compete and game. And that is many students who actually have the facilities at home, but they wanted to game with their friends, and that's important. In 2019, towards the end of 2019, and just before the pandemic, I was fortunate enough to be asked by Pearson and the British Esports Association to write some units for the world's first BETT esports qualification. We launched that around March, April in a pandemic, and true enough, it was again by far one of the most popular subjects we had on offer at Queen Mary's College. We went from 26 students in year 1 plus a waiting list, where we then had to buy more kit, which senior management was slightly apprehensive about. And then we find ourselves now in 2023 with close to 160 students involved in esports in some form or another. We were fortunate enough to open the first ever esports gaming arena for education, using our local education providers and the aforementioned company Yo-Yo Tech, because they, as industry leaders themselves, recognize that they need to be involved in what's happening in the esports arena. The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2025 and beyond, team play, communication, problem solving, and logistics are key fundamentals to moving into any industry. Esports playing will help with that. It is relevant skills that you can move into the workforce itself that is crying out for these skills. And please don't say soft skills. If we take anything away from today, can we call them essential skills or smart skills? It's detrimental to say soft. These are needed by the industry, and what you'll be able to hear from our students and the BTEC units that they use are opportunities to demonstrate that. We're very fortunate as well at Queen Mary's College to work with an esports company called Fnatic. We're one of 4 colleges throughout the UK to have that partnership. We, last week, involving 2 of our students, had work experience opportunities with Fnatic. That is the first of its kind, but it is absolutely needed to move forward as more and more people get engaged with this. And it's also worth noting at this point that the esports course is absolutely not about making your son or daughter a better player. There's barely any gaming in it. It is about business. It is about enterprise. It's about entrepreneurship. It's about shoutcasting or event management. All of the other elements that go into one of the world's biggest industries at the moment. And what you'll hear from these students is how they are going through that on their 2-year journey with us. So it's vital that we engage with these students. It's vital we engage with the industry. And if you speak to people within the esports scene, they also want this skill set. So it makes sense to combine these things. Because at the moment, education within esports allows you to do something contemporary, engaging, relevant, and dare I say fun. And there's nothing wrong with fun in education, but we're able to offer all of that as a subject. And that's why it's so popular, that's why it's so relevant, and that's why we need to engage with students like this, and hopefully people like yourself in the audience as well. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Hannah. Hannah is the team captain for the QM Samurai, which is one of our teams at Queen Mary's College. She is a national champion. Whoop, whoop.
Hey.
Thank you. That's definitely aimed at you, not me. I'm rubbish at gaming. And also last summer in Nottingham, she was voted most valuable player. So please, if you wouldn't mind, another round of applause, please, for Hannah.
Yay.
Thank you, James. Right. Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah, and as James has said, I'm currently studying the Level 3 Sports Extended Diploma at Queen Mary's College in Basingstoke, as well as being the captain of our Nationals Overwatch team this year. I've always loved gaming since I was a child, and, well, after finding out about the College Esports Society, I was really able to gain the confidence that I needed to, well, just interact with anyone, really, and gain the leadership skills that I needed in order to gain the title of British Esports Student Champion and MVP in last year's season of Overwatch. As well as this, esports has really given me the opportunity to come out of my shell. I used to be really shy, but now I have great friends in colleges ranging from Coventry to London to Bristol, and really, you don't really get this in any other subject. You don't really get the crossover in sort of friendships between colleges, and I find that really valuable. And just in the future, obviously, I'm looking to further my education and take esports at university. And with the skills that I've gained, such as problem solving, resilience, and of course leadership, I'm looking to elevate whatever university team that I'm on and hopefully win the University Esports League as well. So now my friends George and Will tell you about how esports has affected their lives.
Thank you very much, Hannah. So my name is George. I study the extended diploma just like Hannah at Queen Mary's College. I am also the co-owner and co-founder of Control Esports. My journey for esports began back in around 2019 when I started playing Fortnite. I'm sure you've all heard of Fortnite. I was trying to be the best, and it just didn't work out. So I resulted to trying to find teams to be in as a manager, and that didn't work out as well. So I created my own team with Will here just before we started the esports course, and it's really helped me grow it, the brand to what it is today. We do units such as entrepreneurship, brand activation, nutrition, where we can learn about what's good for our body, and we can give that information back to our players as well. And also some key skills like marketing, and all of these skills are really transferable into different markets as well. And I'm super thankful for James, and then there should be Nick out there somewhere, who's one of my lecturers, for creating the course. So thank you very much, and I'll pass you over to Will.
Thank you very much, George. So hi, I'm Will. I'm currently studying the Esports Extended Diploma at QMC College, and I'm also co-founder and co-owner of Control Esports. So gaming's been a massive part of my life ever since I've been around 6 or 7. My very responsible dad just sat me down in front of a console when he did the cooking. I'm sorry, Dad, if you're watching this. But as time passed, I became more passionate about gaming, and I wanted to learn more, which led me to find out about the course at QMC. The course is amazing, honestly. The facilities are so good. And obviously, we've got the best teachers in the industry. We've got James and Nick. I don't know if you're here. I can't see you, but thank you for that. Also, the course has exposed me to different things, such as different career paths, such as nutritionist, coaching, marketing, and it's really helped me. And it's definitely helped me build my own team with George, as he mentioned earlier. But as my time's limited today, I will hand you back to Mark.
No worries. And I think what we'll do is we'll skip the statement bit, and we'll just
run out a bit of time.
All right, no sweat. Thanks
Thank
for that.
you.
That was awesome. You know, while I was investing coins into Space Invader machines at sort of the age 16, 17, at the same age, they're investing in their careers, which is pretty impressive. I'd ask the students to provide a lesson, a message for you to take back to the teachers in your schools about esports. But in the interest of time, what we'll do is we'll share that out on social instead. So look out on social, hashtag Microsoft EDU, 3 lessons from the kids that they want to pass on. Great. Okay, our next speaker is going to impress you. Commonwealth gold medalist from the Rocket League Women's Esports, India Brown. She needs her own TED Talk, I tell you. She's going to be speaking next, and while you're listening to India, I want you to sort of tune in to the grit, the challenges, and also the support that she's had from family to help her pursue this remarkable career. So as a professional esports athlete, India, tell us a bit about you and your journey.
Hello, everyone. My name is India, and I wear many hats. From being an only child who loves music and playing the piano, to studying travel and tourism and law in college, to traveling the world with my family, and my favorite of all, competing in esports. I also go by the name of Alanis in the esports scene. And today, I'm here to share with you my journey, as well as just some of the benefits esports and video games have, as well as hopefully removing the negative stigma that surrounds both of them as just being, sat at a computer screen for hours on end. So my interest in video games began when I was just 7. Like many other kids at the time, I played Minecraft. I thoroughly enjoyed how open and how creative you could be to no end. And I love that my creativity wasn't actually restricted, but instead encouraged. However, as a very competitive person growing up and a bit of a sore loser, still to this day being one, I realized I needed something more. That's when I discovered esports, and in particular, Rocket League. I was amazed to see that there was such a well-funded industry, so many events, all for just playing video games. Essentially, Rocket League is football with cars. That can also fly. And no, I promise you, it wasn't the bizarre idea that made me stick with it. It was how fast-paced and stimulating it was for my brain. And for someone like me, I need short, snappy content. Something to keep me engaged and focused. Because of esports and Rocket League, it's allowed me to do many things. It's opened many doors to me, such as working with notable companies like Nike, Microsoft, the BBC, and more, as well as allowing me to make a living from it at such a young age. At 15, I signed my first professional contract with an organization in the US. At 16, I was selected to represent Team England in the Commonwealth Games in their Esports Championships, where we won gold, and I was the youngest person to ever do so. Till more recent at 17, where I signed my newest contract with an organization called Team Endpoint. Bit of a plug there. So, how exactly does esports and video games, benefit a person in terms of education? Well, like many people out there, myself included, despite my good grades, I struggled in school. I struggled to stay focused. And yes, you could argue there were fantastic teachers that offered interactive, engaging, beneficial lessons to their students. But there were those who sat and read from a PowerPoint or lesson. Esports and video games has the ability to teach students skills, teach them topics, subjects, help them study, and help them build transferable skills. We've already seen how promising Minecraft education has been, so why not expand it further? I really do believe that, in my time in esports, I've learned many transferable skills. Skills like confidence, problem solving, learning how to, stay focused, working well under pressure, and learning how to articulate myself well at a young age. I think there is a large gap in the market that educators just aren't taking advantage of esports in the use of helping students learn and study. However, in my time in esports, I faced many setbacks. Like few, I overcame them. Due to me being a woman, I faced many misogynistic and sexist remarks in the scene. This is due to the scene being dominated by men, and some found it odd, to see women competing in esports with such high stakes on the line. This is due to traditional ideology of, oh, video games are a boys' thing. Why are you playing that? That's for boys. Which isn't true. There's so many opportunities that come from video games. Growing up, my parents, somewhere, often told me, how important it was to set goals and how to work towards them. They'd often tell me to write my goals down, which usually at the time including signing professional contracts and, winning Rocket League events. Both I've completed and I've now done. However, they weren't aware of the opportunities that could come from it, nor did they know I could make a living from it. However, they never discouraged me. Instead, they used it to their advantage and they bargained with me. They'd often say something like, India, you can continue to do whatever this is, as long as you still do this. Which, now I look back at it, actually taught me how to balance things of equal importance. In a nutshell, Rocket League, esports, is a competitive sport. Requires practice, discipline, and commitment. It is a tool for growth and development, and educators need to take advantage of that. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, India, for sharing your story and those remarkable achievements. They serve to remind us all that the young people in our classrooms aren't waiting to become grown-ups to get things done. Given the invitation, they're ready right now, and they'll surprise us. So, where to next? We've heard from teachers, students, and champions. What's the pull through? Can you get a job? I'm going to introduce you to Apurva Raman. So, Apurva has a passion for gaming. Whoops. She couldn't join us here, so she's recorded this short segment. Her passion for gaming has led to a career in the very industry that she loves as a game designer. Listen to her story and listen to the aha moment. It's a classic. It's to do with a door, and then listen to the end about what she wants to contribute back in gaming. This is Apurva.
Hi, I'm Apurva, and I'm excited to be here with you at BETT. I'm a software engineer at Minecraft, and I work on Minecraft education. Working on games is something that's been a lifelong dream for me, and not something I always thought I could do. Gaming feels kind of like a safe haven for me. I, as a kid, had a lot of health issues that I was confronting for the first time. While I was in school, I wasn't able to attend in person all the time. Being able to still connect with friends over games was really critical for me to have that sense of connectedness with the people around me, and helped me stay motivated to pursue the dreams that I wanted to achieve. When I was about 7 or 8 years old, I ran into a glitch in a game where I encountered a door that wouldn't open, and that was the only way forward. And eventually I found that some people had documented how to access the game's files. When I did that, I got to see everything a game developer would see when trying to debug their game. It's kind of like seeing the matrix in front of you. That got me thinking that I wanted to learn how to do that. When you bring gaming into the classroom, you unlock this passion from so many students who might otherwise find it tough to connect with the subject material. I really love where I am right now, being a game dev on Minecraft. I'm so excited to be able to use everything that I've learned and all of my experiences to help make games more accessible. I know that my journey was made possible through my experiences with gaming. Thanks everyone for letting me share my story, and I hope you enjoy the rest of BETT.
Great, and we thank Apurva for that recording. I love the drive to push for more inclusive and accessible gaming experiences for all. I'm always impressed when I see things like adaptive controllers for Xbox, immersive reader built in, not bolted onto Minecraft education, features that ensure that every learner can fully participate in gaming. I hope you've enjoyed the session. Now, some people describe multiplayer gaming environments as nascent metaverses. If the guests that we've heard from today, these remarkable young people, are anything to go by, because they're going to be the architects of the future, I think we're in good hands to create a betterverse not just a metaverse, one that's creative, equitable, and profoundly collaborative. It's in their hands, no pressure. Thank you. We're presented here today, education friends, with an invitation. It's an invitation to reimagine education right now. Education untethered by time, place, traditional constraints, creating new possibilities, pathways, and preferred futures for all students. Gaming and esports have moved from the fringe into the mainstream, and now they're in the classroom, presenting that perfect environment to build skills for learning, life, and employability. We simply have to press play. Just some quick follow-ups. Get your phones ready. You'll want to scan some of these. You can bring esports right now into your school with free Minecraft toolkit, lesson, professional development resources, case studies. Find out about our friends at the British Esports Foundation and get involved. Make sure you visit the Microsoft stand and find Barrett and Sarah and all the other friendly people there. They'll help you out with any questions you've got. But the big reveal, between 12 and 1 on Friday, an esports takeover with real live students in a build, battle, speed run in a Sustainable Cities Challenge in London Minecraft. Could you take a moment to just join me in putting your hands together for our remarkable speakers? And now it gives me great pleasure to run through the streets of Minecraft London again with the closing sequence. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Enjoy the rest.